going on, everyone? Next talk is Wednesday here. What is going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing extremely well. There is a little bit of issue with my microphone, so please stand by for 1 second, guys. I do apologize about that. That's right. Get back to the queue 1 second. I'm going to be MIA for 1 second. Please don't leave. Give me 1 second, guys. I do apologize about this. All right. Hopefully that is a little better. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear. All right. I do apologize about that, guys. My apologies. I was having some weird technical issues. I don't know, but that's all right. We are all okay now. I do want to apologize about that. I've been going through a lot of crazy stuff. I just went to Disney. I actually live in Florida. Fun fact, if you guys did not know that. Okay, yeah, the audio is good. I do apologize. Like I said, I was dealing with some tech stuff. I just actually came back from Disney. Fun fact, I do live in Florida, if you guys did not know that. So I do apologize. I was guessing I was having some technical issues, whatever you want to call it. So I do apologize about that. But what is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden is the name. Raging is the game. I hope we are all doing extremely well. I am most certainly doing well today. So, as you know, Mets have been having a little intriguing stuff going on the last couple days, last couple hours. The Mets, well, they have been having some Mets moments. And, hey, that's all right. It is going to happen. But, yeah, Mets have had a couple of rough moments the last couple of 24 hours. Obviously, Starling Marte getting hurt, having a little right side tightness, I believe it was, or something around those lines. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, that was pretty much not the best. We are going to talk about that. I do apologize, everyone. I am a little out of pace right now. My computer had a little issue, so I had to shut it down. So I do want to talk about the New York Mets and the Los Angeles Dodgers series, just because I didn't recap it. Like I said, I was in Disney, so I didn't really have much time to go on my computer and recap it. So I am going to cover that just for a little bit. If you guys don't want to hear it, my apologies. Hopefully you like listening to my voice. I will cover that, and then I am going to cover the two Padres games that just occurred. I am going to go over all this stuff towards the end of the stream, so I do apologize about that. So before we get into all of that, everyone, please smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, tell your friends about this channel, and of course, let's stop wasting any more time and let's dive right into it. So, getting into game one of this New York Mets and Los Angeles Dodgers game. This is going back to last Thursday. So, we're going back to last Thursday. I do apologize, but I want to cover it because the New York Mets really put up a big fight against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I think this could be a series that could really come down to something, I will say, for the least. So, I do want to cover it. So, getting into game one, last Thursday's game, the New York Mets lost to the Los Angeles Dodgers by a score of 2-0. This was a very rough game for the New York Metropolitans. They lost this game with their first shutout of the year, going 2-0. Obviously, you had Taijuan Walker on the bump for this Mets game, and what really sucks is that Walker pitched a phenomenal outing. 5 2/3 of an inning, 7 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 2 strikeouts, 94 pitches. So what really, I guess you could say, is unfortunate to see is, Walker had his stuff there. His stuff was there. Just overall, the unfortunate thing that came into effect for Taijuan Walker this game was that he didn't have his offense to back him up. Following that, Colin Holderman came in, gave up 2 hits, got out of it though. Jason Shreve came in. Following that, Mets did get shut out this game. And I am going to go quick through this because I know it's not really relevant. Getting into game 2 of this series, the New York Mets lost this game to the Los Angeles Dodgers by a score of 6-1. Likewise, what happened with Taijuan Walker? Chris Bassett was on the bump, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 110 pitches. Bassett did another phenomenal job. Offense couldn't bail him out. Offense was quiet this game. Only 1 run, solo home run by Pete Alonso to left center, 433 feet. Getting into game 3 of this series, obviously was the biggest game of this series by the New York Mets. They won this game by a score of 9-4. David Peterson was on the bump. 3 2/3 innings, 2 hits, a run, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. Peterson did a good job. I mean, 90 pitches was the biggest reason why he couldn't get out of this. I mean, he got out of the game. I mean, the Mets won this game, but the pitch count was, I think, the biggest thing that really, I guess, got to the best of David Peterson. So where he unfortunately couldn't get the W, and I guess couldn't succeed, I guess you could say, necessarily. So that was really overall unfortunate. But hey, it happens with these guys. The bullpen was definitely at work this series. Obviously, Colin Holderman, Adam Ottavino, Chasen Shreve, Drew Smith, Dolly Rodriguez, and Seth Lugo all pitching in this game. In terms of this offense, to get things started in the first inning, Francisco Lindor had a solo home run to right, 391 feet. Going into the third inning, Starling Marte double to center to bring in 2 runs, Mazika and Nimmo. Later on that inning, Francisco Lindor grounded out, an RBI ground out to bring in Brandon Nimmo. In the third inning, Pete Alonso had a 2-run homer to left, 401 feet. This ball was ripped to bring in him and Marte. In the fourth inning, Eduardo Escobar had a solo home run. And then, of course, in the 7th inning, to put the cherry on top, Pete Alonso, with the second homer of the game, had a 3-run homer to right center to bring in him, Nimmo, and Marte. 394 feet. Phenomenal game for the New York Mets. And getting into the final game of this 4-game series, which was Sunday's game, I guess a little bit more relevant. And I think this was a huge game for the Mets. Why? Because this is the game that every team, I think, has where they're really there. And this is a game that really could determine a lot. Obviously, yeah, I get it. It's June. This game doesn't mean anything. But every game matters, in my opinion. And I think this was a huge game for the Mets. The Mets won this game by a score of 5-4. Trevor Williams, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 0 walks, 5 strikeouts. I mean, tip of the cap to Trevor Williams. I mean, this dude just comes out of nowhere and has been doing a phenomenal job lately. So keep it up, Trevor Williams. Ottavino came in following that. Nagosic, Diaz, Lugo, and Medina. Tip of the cap to Medina. Had runners on the corners with 1 out and got out of it. Getting into this offense, in the third inning, Starling Marte had a solo home run to right center, 391 feet. And then in the 8th inning, to wake up this offense, Pete Alonso had an RBI double to left to bring in Francisco Lindor. Really love to see that. Pete Alonso has been having a phenomenal season so far, to say for the least. In the 8th inning, Eduardo Escobar, to give the Mets the lead, had an RBI sacrifice to right to bring in a Pete Alonso. And then in the 8th inning, Tomas Nido singled to deep right center to bring in Mark Canha and Luis Guillorme to third. And then in the 10th inning, for the winning run or the game go-ahead run, J.D. Davis had an RBI double to bring in Pete Alonso. So Mets split the series with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that is what you like to see. So, yeah, so I just wanted to cover that. I know that was a big series, with the Mets and Dodgers. And I know a lot of people were going into this, time saying, oh, my goodness, the Mets, Dodgers, that's going to be a big series. And the Mets survived. I mean, that was just really, I guess, the biggest thing for this team was to at least split the series from the Dodgers. That's what I said on this stream. I said, split the series and I'm fine. If you lose 3, if you lose the whole series, if you get swept, yeah, I would have been disappointed. But luckily, the Mets didn't do that. They split the series against one of the best teams in the game. So that's the biggest and most important thing that I think this New York Mets ball club could have done. So honestly, tip of the cap to them. Let them keep rolling. Let them keep getting in the game, and they could definitely do some stuff down the line. So let's stop wasting any more time, and let's dive into some of your guys' comments, questions, and concerns. As always, if you guys have any comments, if you guys have any questions, anything related to the New York Mets, feel free. Don't hesitate. Drop it below. It could be about the Mets. It could be about the Rays, the Dodgers, the Padres. We know they've been very relevant with the Mets lately. So don't hesitate. Drop it below. But what's going on, everyone? Alex, how we doing, man? Seth, what's going on? Seth says tough break for the Mets last night. Darvish hitting 3 and then pitching a gem. Guess they can't always have the last laugh. Anyways, what's the news with Marte? Yeah, obviously there was some unfortunate news with Starling Marte last night. Pretty rough thing for Starling Marte. So Starling Marte decided to steal second base because, hey, Starling Marte is that speed, fast guy. And obviously with a guy who has the opportunity to steal bases, well, he's going to have the opportunity to injure himself. And in the first inning to get things started, Starling Marte stole second base and he hurt himself. Yeah, and now he has a tight left quad. So that's going to be a questionable for Starling Marte ahead. Things have been quiet. He had imaging. It was viewed. Medical professionals looked at him. I don't know. I'm not going in the medical field, so if I sound like an idiot or I have no idea what I'm talking about, I am, because I don't know anything about this. So he did have that. How long is he going to be out for? Well, that's going to be a little bit questionable. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know this medical stuff. Obviously, really tough because Khalili from Syracuse was called up. They gave him the flight ticket from Syracuse to San Diego to meet the Mets, and he likely could be getting the start tonight. We'll see. Most likely, Marte is going to be on the IL. That's what we've heard from a lot of Mets reporters, is that Marte is going to go to the IL. 10 days, 20 days, we'll see. That's a little concerning. You know, Marte's a guy who offers a lot of speed, the biggest thing is speed. Stealing bases, and not even that, but if a player gets a double, he is likely going to score from first base. So, yeah. So overall, that's just the really unfortunate, I guess you could say, thing for Marte. So it sucks. It simply does. It really does. You know, is this going to be like last year? No. So that was the first thing. And Pete Alonso yesterday, well, we saw what happened. Yu Darvish is a fool. And, well, he's not a fool. It's baseball. It happens. But he decided to pitch inside to Alonso. Alonso tried the check swing, and it hit him. He went on the ground for a little bit. He was in some discomfort, and he came out of the game. Alonso did go for testing. No broken bones. He's fine. Although they are going to continue to, keep taking pictures. We know how this stuff could work out at sometimes. But as of right now, Alonso should be hopefully fine. Cross my fingers. He doesn't have anything broken, but you never know what could happen. So most likely, this is what my opinion is going to be. And Baseball's mayor literally just said it. I think Marte will have the worst of injury. I honestly can see Marte getting anything. I think he probably will go in the 10-day IL, to be honest with you. Alonso, he'll be day-to-day, and he'll probably be back by Saturday, probably the Angel series. So I'm not worried about Alonso. Yeah, it's going to be Marte. It sadly probably is going to be. Trey, what's going on? Peter, Kobe, Ibindos, what's going on? Yeah, I do apologize about the audio before. Jose, I do apologize. What's going on? John, Karen, Timothy, what's going on, brother? Trey says we went into this assuming this was going to be this was going to say it's a tough West Coast trip. Yeah, I mean, for the Dodgers series, not necessarily. I think we did definitely get by to an extent. I think it is more the Padres series has been rough. Obviously, first game was phenomenal. I mean, we beat up on the Padres. I mean, Alonso beat up, Escobar beat up, McNeil beat up. I mean, the whole Mets offense beat up on the Padres game one. Last night, on the other hand, well, they had a little bit of an issue. So that happens. I think the injuries were the worst thing. I guarantee you, if Marte and Alonso didn't leave last night, everyone would be saying, oh, it's okay. We'll get him. Mets left-handed pitching never works out. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully we can get an update when I'm on the stream. Maybe I'll try and keep the stream a little bit longer. I see we got 15 of you guys in the chat. So if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, anything MLB, Mets, Rangers, Phillies, any other team, Texas Rangers, obviously, anything related to baseball, don't hesitate. Comment it below. Peter says, hey, Hayden, how are you? Mets have been playing very good baseball lately, despite a couple of injuries. This team never surrenders, which is what I love about them. Yeah, I mean, this team, from what we've seen, has always just did the job they were supposed to do. This team would come out on the field and just play 9 innings of baseball and never surrender. The moment you think this team is about to lose, they somehow manage to just get things done. And yeah, that's what I just honestly love about this team. I mean, I know it's early in the season. We know how second halves could be. We know how last year was, but it's just crazy. LFGM, what's going on? Carol, Coach Dante, what's going on? Kobe says, do you think Khalili can be an impactful player in the next couple weeks? And I think someone asked me this a couple days ago on my last stream, but I think it was, can he be like a big player in the next couple years? And honestly, Khalili, this is my thing with Khalili. He's a good athletic ball player. I think he has speed. I think he could be a good defender. But the bat is something that I do worry about with Lee. He doesn't have the most power. The line drives are not there. He's a ground ball guy. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing for Khalil Lee is can he keep the ball? Can he hit for some line drives? I mean, go for the opposite way. He's not really going to be a power hitter. I mean, we saw in AAA, he is a power hitter, but can he be a power hitter at the major league level? A 95, to 100 mile per hour pitch. So that's going to be the biggest thing for Khalil Lee. Honestly, though, like I said, we're honestly going to have to see with Khalil Lee. He's going to have a huge, huge, huge time to shine. If Marte is going to be gone for the next week or 2 weeks, if Khalil Lee can step up like he did last year a little bit, then that's going to be huge for this team. It really is. You want my predictions? I think Alonso is going to be day-to-day. He'll be back by the Angels series, and I think Marte is going to get the worst of it. I think Marte is probably going to be gone for 2 weeks. That's me being hopeful. I mean, I know it sucks to say hopeful, but that's what I honestly think is going to probably happen. So we'll see how things can go ahead. Otherwise, with Khalil Lee, I think he definitely has the strong potential. I really, really do. Yeah. Otherwise, we're honestly going to have to see how things go ahead, for this team, for Khalil Lee. Hopefully he could, stay up at the major league level if he is successful. Trey says, should Nick Plummer get more playing time? And if so, what role does he hold now? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm absolutely not against giving Nick Plummer more playing time. I definitely think he does deserve it. I really do. I think he's proved himself so far. I think he has the strong potential to really show what type of player he could be. Really crazy. He has that Conforto identical swing. And I'm not saying he's going to be the next Michael Conforto, but I don't know. The swing is very similar. I mean, like I said, Nick Plummer, didn't really know much about him. We know we got him in minor league free agency last year. 8th round prospect. He was so close to MLB ready. We know that people were saying, oh, he's going to be Randy Arozarena 2.0. Cardinals are going to, screw up, whatever, signing him or not re-signing him, giving him away for free like they did with Randy Arozarena. Small sample size, I will say. I mean, he's played, 4 games? He's had 2 phenomenal ones. One where he was a 9th inning defensive adjustment, and then one is the DH. I think as of right now, the role he's going to hold is probably, if Marte is going to be out for a while, he could be a huge asset in that outfield. If not, and even when Marte comes back or whatever, a DH. Like I said, I'm so glad that the NL has the DH because times like this where players shine. And that's what I love about guys like Khalil Lee, Nick Plummer, a lot of these prospects that are MLB ready. Put them in the DH role, because it settles them in and they don't have to worry about the field. During all the time, they could either step up at the dish or sit in the dugout and think to themselves, hold the bat, talk with coaching staff, talk with players, and observe the game without actually playing the defense. I think that's huge for a lot of guys. If you're a catcher like Adley Rutschman, Francisco Alvarez, or whoever, that's a different story. But yeah, so as of right now, a DH would be a good idea. Maybe outfield. Connor, what's going on? LFGM. Connor says, hello, Hayden. LFGM, they're doing this without their 2 Cy Young Award winners. The Mets are really going to be tough in the second half. They'll have the best rotation in the league, and the offense is just doing enough. They can go all the way for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that is the biggest thing for this team is just, be successful. And I think this team can really go far. And so far, I mean, they're really showing that they are a really good team. So, down the line, hopefully they can keep it up. And yeah. And would be Chatterbox says, you better get packing, bro. Absolutely, dude. You can see on my bed. Marco says, I'm having a feeling that Alonso will be day-to-day and Martes will be much worse, possibly the 10-day IL. Likewise. It isn't safe to be a manager named Joe. Girardi and Madden were both fired. Yeah, and then kind of answering Electric Voltage's question, his thoughts on Joe Girardi getting fired. Listen, this is my thing with the Phillies. I think going into the season, obviously the Phillies had phenomenal, predictions going ahead, and they still do. I think the biggest thing was Harper having to play the DH role. I think that definitely was where kind of things started. And they were lucky that they have the DH because Harper wouldn't be able to throw, and he probably would be out until July, and that would be horrible for the Phillies and Bryce Harper. Trying to go back-to-back MVP. And I think signing 2-8 2 DHs. Signing both Castellanos and Schwarber was a disaster. I even said, I don't even want the Mets to go after those 2 guys in the past offseason. I said, because they can't play the outfield. And the Mets, like I said, I think the Mets are a good defensive team. I mean, I really do. They either have average or Gold Glove contender guys. I really do. I think Nimmo could be a Gold Glover. I think Canna can. I think Marte can. I think Alonso's average. I think McNeil could be a Gold Glover. Escobar, Lindor, maybe McCann. I don't know. So, like I said, this team has the really strong potential defensively. The Phillies, on the other hand, are one of the worst defensive teams that I've ever seen, sadly. I think Harper is obviously average, a little more defensively. Really, no one else on this team isn't really the best defensively. And I think that was a big thing is the Phillies blew so many games due to defense. And if it wasn't blown, it was the domino effect where, Hoskins misthrows the ball to Camargo and then Camargo also throws it away. That could have been the game-ending dub. That could have been the inning-ending double play. But then following that, a random baseball player will say Joe Smith hits a 3-run homer. Little stuff like that. And that happens. That's not even the Phillies, but that's what we saw a lot of this season. So when it comes to Girardi, this is what I say. The bullpen, the last couple games that he was managing, the bullpen management was with Knebel. I don't know what was going on with him there. But this is my thing. Is it what he was doing or was it what Dombrowski was doing? In my opinion, I think it was more Dombrowski than Girardi. I really do. I think Dombrowski was the one that gave him 2 DHs, gave him the mixed bullpen. They didn't really address their biggest needs this offseason. So, listen, do I want the Mets to get Girardi instead of Showalter? No. But I think it's the best thing for the Phillies now, in my opinion. I do. We'll see how they could do ahead. I don't know who they have currently now. The acting manager is going to be there for their long term. We'll see. That's the biggest thing about firing managers mid-season or in May or in June. Everyone was saying fire Rojas last year in May and June, but how would that have been? Any updates on Polar Bear? Not that I have seen, Daniel. Not that I have seen. Cal says, which Mets will make the All-Star game? And I like this question. I always love talking about the All-Star game. So as of right now, I did actually do my ballot earlier. But as of right now, the only Mets that I believe will make the All-Star game are going to be Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil. Those, I think, are 2 locks. I think Alonso and McNeil are the 2 locks. I could see a case for Nimmo. I could see a case for Diaz, Edwin Diaz. I know relief pitchers, it's really hard to kind of judge, especially there being like Josh Hader and so many other dominant ones. Closer role is going to be really hard. So as of right now, yeah, I think Alonso and McNeil are the 2 locks. I think you can make a strong case for Nimmo and Lindor, and maybe even Diaz. Daniel says Bassett needs to throw a gem tonight. Walker getting no run support. Yeah, and the biggest thing with this is, and the biggest thing that I think you could say with this really has to be how this team hits against left-handed pitching. I mean, it's no secret this team's numbers against left-handed pitching has been horrible. Why is that? I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't really know. Usually they say left-handed pitchers throw less in velocity. We know this team doesn't have the best numbers with pitchers with low velocity, unless you're like Nimmo or Alonso, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, you face Snell. You beat up Snell in game 1. You couldn't hit Darvish last night, and we'll see. They're facing another lefty tonight, Minaya. So that's 3 lefties in a row. You're 50-50. You got it in game 1, not game 2. So we'll see. Can they get the cherry on top and get Minaya? Minaya has been struggling lately, I will say. So we'll see. That is true. I heard Trout got injured. Yeah. Timothy says, will the Mets trade Dom Smith, Trevor Williams, and prospects Alex Ramirez and Calvin Ziegler to the Nats for Juan Soto before starting the second half against the Padres on July 22nd? I'm going to say no. I mean, listen, I think that's a great deal. I am very high on Calvin Ziegler ahead and Alex Ramirez, but I don't think they're going after Soto. I really don't. If anything, I think Soto is going to go to the free agent market. I've spoken about Soto in the Nationals, but as of right now, I got to say no. Mets have been shut out all season and now already been shut out twice on the road trip. Yeah, the Mets have never been shut out this whole season until this road trip. That's true. Yeah, I did hear about that also. Alvaro, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Alvaro says, is it normal to beat a team one day and get blown out the next day by the same team? Yeah, I mean, that's baseball. Like I said, baseball is weird. Weird stuff always seems to happen in baseball. Guys do stuff. Yeah, that's baseball. Like I said, I mean, that's what makes baseball so great is anything can happen. I mean, really, anything can happen. I guess that's what honestly makes baseball great. I mean, it's funny. It really is. But, I mean, hey, it's what happens. You know, look at it. The Pirates swept the Dodgers. And then now the Dodgers are hot. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, that, like I said, that's why I like baseball. That's why it's my favorite sport. It's unpredictable. You know, yeah, there's stats, there's analytics. I mean, but it really is unpredictable. That's what I really like about it. Mets have not been, yeah. Kobe says, one thing I want to see the Mets change is how they hit when facing left-handed pitching. I don't know why, but they always seem to struggle. Yeah, man, like I said, I honestly have no idea why that really is. I really couldn't tell you. Maybe it's that lefties pitch with lower velocity. Maybe I know this team isn't the best when, you know, facing guys with low velocity. I know this team last year had issues hitting a fastball, but now that's kind of their bread and butter. Yeah, I really don't like to come on the stream and say, I don't know. But when it comes to facing left-handed pitching, I honestly do not know. I really wish I knew. I just seriously have no idea why this team can't do anything when facing left-handed pitching. I know that Steve Cohen purchased some pitching robot machine from Canada, and this is really interesting. I wanted to talk about this. And modern technology, living in 2022, that's what's great about baseball. Steve Cohen purchased some pitching robot machine that it's like a pitch machine, but it's more advanced than that. It pitches the same velocity and the same movement, the same break, the same spin rate as a guy like Clayton Kershaw's slider or Max Scherzer's cutter. Really intriguing. That's intriguing. I like that. I don't really think that's really a thing that many teams have used. It's pretty advanced, I will say. So tip of the cap to Steve Cohen for making that happen. You know, with that, practice every single day, left-handed pitching with a fastball and a slider, and we're good. Like I said, I mean, how to cure facing left-handed pitching? I mean, have David Peterson and, you know, all of your left-handed aces, I guess, pitch batting practice to these guys. I mean, I really don't know why. It's crazy. Peter says, I'm glad Tyler McGill will be back this weekend. After the Angel series, his presence will make a huge difference. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. I mean, having McGill back is going to be huge. I will say Peterson and Williams have been holding down the fort for him nicely. Coming back this Angel series, he's not going to go 5-6 innings. He'll probably go an inning or two, maybe 20-30 pitches, get back into the wiggle of things. He only had one rehab start, so that is why. I guess big thing for McGill is keep the fastball in check, keep the velocity there. We know that McGill has upped the velocity a little bit. He has experimented with a lot of new pitches this spring training and this season, so hopefully he still has command of the arsenal of pitches that he has had before. You know, some guys, when they're dealing with injuries, they try to avoid a slider or a pitch that could really use a lot of force in their elbow. That's not the case for McGill, so I guess best of luck to him there. But yeah, McGill coming back is going to be huge. What are your thoughts? Daniel says, what are your thoughts of the Mets being hit the most time in the majors? Some people are saying the Mets should hit Machado and get some revenge. Yeah, I mean, listen, don't hit Machado. It's, you know, the Mets have had so many. They have what, like 20. They had a benches clearing brawl against the Nationals. They had one against the Cardinals. They almost had another one against the Nationals. They almost had one against the Phillies. I mean, I don't want the Mets to be the most hated team in the league. Why are they getting hit? Another thing, I couldn't tell you. I mean, maybe guys like McNeil and Nimmo really lean in over the plate. I will say Alonso, too. A lot of these guys' stance are very over on top of the plate. And if you get an inside pitch or a breaking ball that doesn't break properly or a backdoor slider that isn't the best, boom, it's going to hit their leg, like we saw with McNeil last night. Backdoor slider from Darvish, and it ticked McNeil in the leg. He was fine, but that stuff happens. So that could be a possibility on why. Guys like Nimmo, guys like McNeil have always been getting hit a lot. Even last year, even 2019, Nimmo got hit 20 times. So that's a big thing. You also have Canna, another guy who I think led the league last year in hit by pitches. So you put all these guys together, it's going to happen. Also, some of their stances are a little bit wide. They're over the plate. But yeah, I mean, don't get revenge. It's not just don't hit Machado, because then you're gonna get suspensions, and don't, yeah. I mean, don't fight fire. Don't fight fire with fire, I guess. Seth says, how should the Mets address Starling Marte if he's going to be on the IL for a while? Well, you got Khalili. I guess that's the biggest thing. You have Khalili. You have Janeswi Fargas in the IL in the minor leagues. That's also another big thing. Like I said, the Mets do have a lot of depth in Syracuse. That is a big thing. Billy Epler is a guy where if one man goes down, it could be the most minor position. It could be your third setup man is out for a day because he pitched back-to-back days, and they want to call someone up and send someone down for a day. I trust Billy Epler. I really do. I mean, you have so much opportunities. If Marte is going to be gone for a while, I don't know. He could be on the 10-day IL, or it could be day-to-day. We'll see. But if Marte, thinking worst-case scenario, does go on the 10-day IL, you could have Janeswi Fargas in the minor leagues. You called up Khalili already, so that's probably why. So you have the moves. Cal says, I can't understand why Mets get hit by so many pitches. No other team has these issues. Yeah, I mean, why? Like I said, we know that the Mets have not been fond of it for the most part. We know that they've had, I guess, meetings in the past, with Major League Baseball discussing these issues, and hopefully it gets resolved. I think the ball definitely does have some bit of say, I think, why this is happening. I mean, a lot of these juiced or dented balls have been screwing guys up, and I think it's making guys lose command of their pitches and gripping it improperly. So, I mean, that's what happens when, MLB changes up the balls, but there's so many other reasonings. Daniel says, the Mets have a championship pedigree, but their bullpen concerns me, especially Dolly Rodriguez, Ottavino, Lugo blowing a 2-run lead against the Dodgers. Thank God for Medina. Yeah, I mean, Adonis Medina, really, just every team gave up on him, and we'll see. Hopefully he's been pitching fine so far. But like I said, yeah, the bullpen is of concern. I mean, you point out the first two guys, Rodriguez and Ottavino, two guys that don't have the best command in their pitches. And this is the thing with Ottavino and Rodriguez, is their stuff is nasty. They can get plenty of whiffs and plenty of swinging and misses with their slider that'll go 5 feet off the plate. But if you have a team like the Dodgers who don't chase a lot and are very good at selective hitting, then you're going to walk the ballpark. That's the thing. If you have a free swing or a high chase rate, yeah, they're going to swing at those pitches. But so that's the big thing with those guys. But more times than none, they are getting the whiffs, they are getting the strikeouts, and they are getting out of jams. Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I do worry, especially with those three guys. I will say Diaz has been very consistent lately. We know Edwin Diaz has been the biggest, I guess, concern going into the series. But he's been consistent. Mets will definitely address their bullpen at the deadline, as always. I mean, every team, for the most part, always goes after, I guess, their bullpen, as you could say. I mean, that's just something baseball teams always do. So, I mean, they got that ahead of them. MLB Chatterbox says, the Joe Madden fire was premature and unnecessary. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, losing what, like 13 games in a row? I mean, that's just something. I mean, you have arguably two of the best players in baseball on your team. I think with Madden, like I said, MLB managers in 2022, in my opinion, are more of a figurehead. I think a lot of stuff goes with the analytical team, goes with the coaching staff. I don't know how much of a say Madden had on a lot of stuff, but they weren't winning. And the manager, hey, they're a scapegoat and they get picked out for everything. I don't really watch a whole lot of Anaheim Angels games, so I couldn't tell you if Madden had made any foolish moves, bullpen moves or whatever. I know that Phillies series was a disaster for them. And the 3 other series or 4 other series before that. And now ahead, against Boston. The Angels, had what the Mets had a lot last year, losing these 1-run games. If it's a 1-0 game, they can't even score a run. But, hey, then they'll score 10 runs and still manage to lose 11-10. So, like I said, with Madden, I think he definitely can be a good manager. I wish him the best of luck. I don't know what his plans are going to be now. I don't know if a team will go after him next year. What are the Angels going to do now? They'll stick with their, I guess, interim manager for now. I mean, someone said Luis Rojas. That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really know what other managerial candidates are out there. Like I said, like, you know, when the Mets fired Rojas, like there was only a handful of guys out there, like Cotraro, Showalter. There wasn't really many guys out there. And the Mets, like I said, I mean, hey, no one would have thought Showalter would have been a good manager, and he's been very intelligent. I mean, he's really done a lot of like intriguing stuff that, you know, made a lot of baseball fans say, oh, wow, that's, you know, never would have thought of that. Kobe says, what's your best and worst case scenario for Marte and Alonso? Yeah, Marte, 10-day IL, 2 weeks maybe. Alonso, day-to-day. Maybe comes back, you know, 5 days, 4 days later. Trey says, Mets hitters have been getting drilled since April. Lindor better armor up at the plate since MLB umpires seem not to care. Yeah, like I said, I think they do care. I mean, well, sooner rather than later, they're going to have to care because lawsuits and, I mean, not even lawsuits, but sooner rather than later, someone's going to get seriously hurt. I mean, either there's going to be more benches clearing brawls or something's going to happen. Alexander, what's going on? He says, hey, Hayden, let's go. Amazing Mets. Indeed. Connor says, not to bring back any rough moments, but which collapse is worse, the 2021 Mets or the 2022 Angels? I mean, I'll say the 2021 Mets because their success was longer. I mean, Angels only had, 2 good months where the Mets had 100 days. So 2 months is 60, 55 days about. 100 days is more than 2 months, 3.5 months there. So I'll say 2021 Mets. Mets fans MB says, do you think Marte, Alonso, or Marte will be in the lineup? If so, do you think they'll make a trade? I don't think they'll be in the lineup tonight. In terms of a trade, I mean, I don't really think there's much you could trade for. Obviously, like I said, this would be a rental move, and I don't think the Mets are going to do that. Like I said, I mean, you have J.D. Davis as the alternate to play first base for the next couple days if Alonso needs a couple days off. So you have J.D. Davis there. I will say Showalter not giving J.D. Davis reps at first was kind of a mistake at spring training, I will say. But, hey, I think everyone really assumed that Dom Smith would be with this team at the major league level, at least at a bench role or a DH role throughout the whole season. No one expected Dominic Smith to have a horrible, horrible, horrible start to the season and get optioned to AAA Syracuse. No one expected that. So, I mean, could you have still repped J.D. Davis? For sure. Doesn't hurt. But, yeah, I will say, unfortunate there. So, I mean, J.D. Davis will probably pick up for first base for a little bit. Maybe even Mark Canha, too. He's capable of playing. So, in case Alonso needs to miss a couple days, whatever. Marte, I think you do have them. You do have the guys. I mean, obviously, considering now you're going a one-man bench with Nito, that's a little bit worrisome. Obviously, I mean, like I said, you have Giannis Fargas, you have Khalili. I mean, the outfield is fine right now. Like I said, I mean, McNeil in left, Nimmo in center, and then Canha in right, or switch however way you want to say it. That could be it now. But hey, you're giving Guillorme more starts. Not against it. So, like I said, I guess, there's blessings in disguise, and the Mets, I guess, are the kings of having a blessing in disguise. Whenever something unfortunate happens, they get someone or something, and they hold down the fort and, hey, even put up better numbers. You never know. It happened last year. So, I mean, who would have thought the Mets last year would have won games with, half of these guys? But, listen, I'm not saying this is last year. I mean, the pitching staff, you have your pitching staff, which what you hoped, besides DeGrom and Scherzer, but you still have your pitching staff. You have the 6-7 guys there. I mean, what? You don't want Khalili? I guess I'd be like, biggest thing there. So, yeah, I'm not worried. It's really not bad. Unless, like, Lindor, Escobar, and, like, McNeil go down tonight, yeah, I'd panic. It's Marte and Alonso. I get it. Alonso's going to be day-to-day most likely. Marte, we'll see. In my opinion, the Mets need to get 2 bullpen arms, and one of them being a lefty. Yeah, I mean, I always wanted the Mets to get some type of remedy for left-handed pitching. Like I said, I think that's going to be, the biggest thing for the Mets. I really will say. Like I said, some left-handed remedy would be nice. Like I said, I mean, speaking of left-handed relievers, Aaron Loup has not been having the bestest of season, I will say, for the least. I mean, like I said, bullpen arms is something that, pretty much 99% of teams are going to go after at the deadline. So, I mean, super intriguing to see who it is, I guess. MLB Chatterbox says, will you now say the Padres are a legit World Series contender? I mean, yeah, I think they definitely can be World Series contenders. Trey Jefferson says once the Mets start hitting for more power, they'll be scary good. This team is driving in plenty of runs and light contact. Yeah, and I mean, I will say the power is coming. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of games where, we saw, I think there was that one game where we had 2 home runs from Alonso, 1 from Escobar, 1 from Lindor. I mean, 4 home runs right there. I mean, we started this season where the Mets would score 10 runs and only get like 1 solo home run or no home runs at all. I mean, this team really just has the approach of just really doing the job that they're supposed to do and just driving in runs any way they can. Like I said, BABIP singles, walks. I mean, hey, that's what any good ball team does. So, I mean, keep it up, Mets. That's all I say. Yeah, I think Carrasco could be an all-star. I agree. LFGM. Kobe says, which team has the best home run celebration? As of right now, Angels have that cowboy hat. Red Sox have the shopping cart. Blue Jays have the home run jacket. Padres have that chain. I think the Orioles have the chain. Some Mets have like dances, like McNeil has the Wedding Crashers thing. I guess some guys have certain daps or shakeups. In terms of like, I guess my favorite, I kind of like McNeil's Wedding Crashers one. But in terms of team, I kind of like the Red Sox shopping cart one. That's pretty cool. Peter says, good to see Eduardo Escobar start to heat up. The cycle a couple nights ago is what he needed to show he's an all-around hitter. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Escobar really just needs some time. And I'm not saying, he's 100% back to what he's capable of being. But, yeah, I think Escobar definitely needed a little bit of time to get acclimated to what he was going to be. I don't think he's one of those, New York guys. Performing in New York is hard. But I just think his approach at the plate was much more different than what happened. I mean, maybe like some other guys, he was a little bit slow to, the Chavez and Showalter, I guess, attitude, coaching, and approach. Where, I mean, we would just see Escobar, step up to the plate and just get into all these 0-2 counts, swinging out all these crazy pitches in the dirt. I mean, the strikeouts were there. He wasn't taking many pitches. Fouling a pitch, striking, and then getting struck out. So, little unfortunate stuff like that, I guess, was a big thing, for Escobar. But, overall, I mean, we'll honestly have to see. I believe the lineup is out tonight, so let me see what happened. Pete Alonso's not in tonight's Mets lineup. He had played 151 consecutive games that would have challenged Jose Reyes' mark. Alas, Alonso will have to begin another streak. Well, that happens. So, yeah, I mean, Alonso isn't in tonight's lineup, which honestly is not a surprise. But in terms of this lineup tonight, I would like to see if it's on or up. I'm seeing so many other teams' lineups, but I don't know if the Mets lineup is out. And that's okay if it's not, but I would like to know, is the Mets lineup out? Yes, no, maybe so, probably not. I think they're probably figuring out maybe with like the Khalili thing, or, I mean, they probably have the guys. They're just probably wondering like who's going to play like what position, like where would Lee play, if there's going to have a DH type of thing. But yeah, I mean, overall, I guess my biggest observation, I guess, going into tonight, or I guess the biggest thing I'll say going into tonight, if Khalili is going to play, I mean, Khalili hit for some power. I mean, just, get on base, I guess. I mean, I hate to see Khalili go 0 for 4. That would suck. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see with Khalili. I think the biggest thing for him will be the power. If he could have, the power at the major league level. So, we'll honestly have to see how that goes ahead there. Super exciting to go for Khalili down the line. Really am intrigued to see ahead. So we're probably going to call it a stream here. I really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. I would like to make a little announcement. So if you guys are in the chat, do not go just yet. I do have to make a little announcement. I will actually be away for the next 2 weeks, 15 days. Actually, I will be leaving tomorrow. I don't know if you guys know MLB Chatterbox, my friend right here, but him and I will be meeting up. He lives in Michigan. He lives up north. And him and I will be meeting up. I will be at his residency for 2 weeks, and we'll be going to a couple baseball games together. We will be going to 2 Chicago Cubs games, a Tigers game, and of course a Reds game, and some other activities we'll be doing together, maybe some minor league games, we'll see. So I probably, will not be in this setup, most likely. How I'm going to do recaps and stuff, I definitely don't want to, just leave you guys dry for content for the next 15 days. So, maybe I'll try and figure something out. maybe I'll try and figure something out. Maybe I'll just do like, videos as recaps. Usually I come on these streams and, usually like the 10 to 15 minutes of it in the beginning is, recapping and previewing stuff. So maybe I'll just do like a 15-minute video where I recap and preview. Maybe I'll recap every single game, do like 2-minute recaps for every single game. Maybe that kind of is my, line down the head. Maybe we'll see. But like I said, I'll definitely do something. Definitely MLB All-Star ballots did come out, so maybe I'll definitely strongly consider doing a video of that, going over, my guys that I think can make the MLB All-Star game, because I love talking about the All-Star game. It's something that I really do enjoy. The All-Star game is just always something fun in Major League Baseball. The Midsummer Classic, who doesn't like it? It's always fun to see. So like I said, we're honestly going to see how that goes. Yeah. So like I said, we'll have to see how that goes there, down the line. Super, super exciting. Hopefully the Mets can get something rolling. Like I said, hopefully we do have some good news, down the line for the Mets. Hopefully they can get something rolling against the Padres. Otherwise, I really do appreciate you guys for tuning into the stream. Like I said, I'll definitely figure out a way to, pump out some content in the next 2 weeks. Super excited for that down the line. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys for tuning into the stream as always. Yeah. Like I said, LFGM, if you guys have any, comments, questions, concerns, do not hesitate. Like I said, everyone, please smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, tell your friends about this channel, and of course, all of that. We got a lot of good stuff coming ahead on the channel. Otherwise, I'm really excited to see, what the New York Mets can get rolling, down the way. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Till next time, baseball fans, see ya.